Hello, everybody, and welcome back to We Bought a Mic Spooky Edition, our Halloween spooktacular special here at Good Mic Hunting, the show within the show, discussing the spooky career of Robin Williams with his most frightening, terrifying motion picture.
That part is true.
We didn't plan this at all.
That's the only true part.
This
so
movie
far.
is kind of a horror film.
You're welcome, guys.
It's very disturbing. How did you put it, Hunter? It belongs in hell?
It belongs in the bowels of hell.
Right.
It needs to go back to there from whence it came.
Happy Halloween, folks. We're here in the studio. It's a very special episode with some very special guests. Welcome to the show. My name's Ernest.
I actually, right before I came here, had complete facial reconstruction surgery, and I chose to look like Robin Williams out of any human form alive. My name is Hunter.
Drew. And
I was gonna say you're not just Drew. You're Andrew. You're Andrew.
And Andrew
You're Andrew.
The android.
Android Drew.
And joining us today, coming back post Kick-Ass, post Green Knight. David, welcome back. How you doing?
I'm doing good, guys. Glad to be back.
thanks for bringing us this jaunty tune.
It wasn't my first pick for the Robin Williams series, but you know what?
What was your first pick?
I was gonna pick like Aladdin or like Jumanji,
Classic.
Okay.
but
Classic.
and then I saw this one on the list, and I was like, oh my god, I remember this. Like memories came back from my childhood of me watching this film at 9 years old.
You're like, I need to punish my friends. Well, maybe not. Yeah, I don't want to speak for your take on the movie. We'll get to that. But welcome for the first time, Rin, to the show. Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
Girlfriend of the pod. We watched this together. Was it your first time?
Yeah.
And
It sucks.
Cool.
Damn, man.
Yikes.
we had a good time.
I guess.
Despite the movie. This movie is
When you
Deep
say
sigh.
you had a good time, I'm hoping that you were like at like Disney World, so like you had a good time, and also Bicentennial Man was there.
I have absolutely
Like-
no idea what he's talking about with
It's
that,
just-
because
okay.
it was not a good time. When there was a point where I paused the movie and saw we still had an hour and a half left, and I teared up.
After what?
Yeah.
After what? The fourth time jump in the first 30 minutes, or
the structure of the movie, that I do remember that we paused and we were like, wait, that cannot be right. The same thing happened when we were watching Armageddon the other day.
Well, at least that's like Michael Bay. You know, you got a wide ensemble of people to grab onto.
I mean, it's in the Criterion Collection. Armageddon is
Yeah.
so like
That
what?
movie was a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
Bicentennial Man is, of course, you watch it, you're like, wow, this is clearly based on an Asimov. Did you know that?
yeah. Well, I mean, when he's reciting like the laws of robotics.
Yeah,
I was
that's the most
like,
obvious part. The rest of
here
it,
we go.
the rest of it does not seem very Asimov to me, because I recall him being pretty smart.
I'm gonna do a whole segment later about like artificial intelligence in film. Did a whole letterbox list because it's not great out there, folks.
It's varying levels of quality, you
Yeah.
could say. I do want to say, David, because this was, you know, it's funny. This is a movie that I definitely always kind of told myself, like, oh yeah, I've seen Bicentennial Man. I've seen that before. I've definitely never seen this movie before in my life, and I realized that about 20 minutes in. But I've seen this poster like about 1 billion times in my
Half
life.
face.
We were
vertical,
talking about
yeah.
this like before we started recording, that this was just in like every movie gallery and Blockbuster I went to as a kid growing up, like, and the poster scared me as a kid. Like, I used to watch horror movies as a kid. I would watch The Exorcist, but seeing the poster for the artificial life of half robot, half Robin Williams silhouette used to terrify me and haunt my nightmares. And the movie is going to now haunt my nightmares.
Yeah.
Now that I've actually put a movie with the poster.
I'm sorry for that, Hunter.
No, thank you for that.
you're welcome.
I actually have a really similar like experience where I had never seen the movie either, but as a kid I remember seeing the poster and being really scared. And I remember when Drew. I don't know why
Andrew?
Yeah, no, that's so weird. See, it's taking
We do
over
some
me
role
now.
play stuff.
I remember when he told me we were going to watch it, I was like, oh, that's a scary movie. Like, that's going to be a scary movie. And, I mean, it was in some ways, but it's not what I thought.
They're not trying necessarily to be scary. It's directed by Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
Happy Indigenous Peoples Day.
We talked about Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
Probably like one of the legendary family children's directors of his time. When
I
you talk
think-
about Mrs. Doubtfire, Home Alone, of course, the first two Harry Potter movies. Like this guy,
Yeah, if you were to make a list of the most
Percy
like
Jackson, Lightning
profitable
Thief.
directors of all time, like the most box office earned per director, he would be like shockingly high on there because of all the Harry Potters. Mrs. Doubtfire, mega hit. Bicentennial Man.
He also very
$3
smartfully
billion worldwide.
He also very smartfully is a producer on every Harry Potter movie. So my guy knows how to make money. He also made Pixels, which let's not forget Pixels.
Is that better or
I
worse
forgot
than
Pixels.
Bicentennial Man?
It haunts my nightmares less.
Is that on your list of artificial intelligence movies?
So, okay. I didn't want to
count?
get into this early.
we don't have to.
But there's a difference between movies that feature robots in them and movies that are about artificial intelligence. Because you can go a lot wider if you're just like throwing at any movie, any Star Wars movie that just has like a droid in it. That's not about, like, movies that are about artificial intelligence are about humanity. Like, that's what they're about. It's about what it means to be human. That's what makes a good, like, Blade Runner. That's like the gold
Yeah,
standard.
Ex Machina,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
And that's what this movie's about. It's about an android that's wants to be a human.
So it's
He's
what
on a
if-
journey.
What if it's AI, but also Forrest Gump?
yeah.
This movie is really swimming in the wake of Forrest Gump. I kept thinking about that the entire time. That's trying to give this.
Yeah, but Forrest
big,
Gump is based in
sweeping
history.
story. Well, this is trying to be based in future. It's trying to be Forrest Gump, but future.
Where's the climate change? How come people aren't like clawing at each other for water resources?
Wait, maybe I'm dumb. Where's the tie-in with Forrest Gump and like just wanting to be like accepted? Is
Just
that-
like the general vibe? Yeah,
big-
of like
the big
kind of-
journey.
yeah, there's a little bit. I mean,
The epic scope.
I don't know
he
what the fuck
gets
these
he
guys are talking about.
changes throughout. He changes throughout and like becomes more of a like character actually looking for something. But for a lot of the movie, he's kind of like this like wandering oaf of a robot, just kind of bumbling around, and people are like, I'm gonna, if I get a chance, I'm gonna dismantle that here robot. Do you see? And then he's like, okay, cool. I'll see you in 50 years.
So just
also
like
next
Forrest
scene.
Gump.
Yeah. Remember that scene of
Exactly.
Forrest Gump when
Tom Hanks is
when
very
Lieutenant
robotic.
Dan
get
says that he's going to disassemble Tom Hanks?
yeah. It's all coming back to me now.
Yeah,
actually.
cool.
We should have just from the jump. We should have been like, yeah, because Forrest Gump's a robot.
Yeah. Oh, obviously you haven't seen it.
Since you sort of mentioned like the futurism of it, the aesthetic of this movie is awful.
Oh, it's
I
Yeah.
it's
really-
1996
it's bad
and also
vibes.
cyberpunk at the same
yeah,
time.
it's like it's his design because for the first hour of this movie, Robin Williams is inside of a like just like a pure like bronzy chrome mech
He looks
suit.
like Tin Man.
He looks like the Tin Man in Wizard
He
of
does
Oz.
claim that it was actually him in that suit.
There's
whole time.
there's also someone credited for being in that suit. so
Well, Robin
I don't know
Williams
about
said,
that, Robin.
"Fuck that performer. I got paid."
So he's in this suit. The face of this suit looks like Robin Williams.
Well, okay, yeah. So one of my first issues with this movie was why would this like, I'm assuming like probably peak technology, like
Yeah.
everyone's amazed by, like it's a first of its kind type thing. Why would it be modeled after Robin Williams? Like he's not, like I was like, why would they make it ugly?
that's my biggest, like, I think that is the biggest fault of this entire movie,
Yeah.
is that you could look like anybody in the world. And we have to listen to a speech about like, the beauty in humans is actually their imperfections. It's actually like the beauty in humans is when you're fucking ugly.
You make mistakes. I think the deep flaw of this movie is that it's fucking boring.
So
We
boring.
have to let David
Defend this movie.
Yeah.
You have to go on this
I'm
island.
just letting you
here.
guys like hate on it real quick. I wanna
Okay,
see
okay, no,
everyone's-
no. Let's stop
Listen.
the hate. Stop the hate.
There will be more hate. Don't you worry about that.
I've already got my defenses up, man. I know I can counter all your points right now.
All right, let's get into. Well, first start off.
Okay, here's counter the point that this is bad, a bad movie.
It was made
It was made
in like when did it come out?
99.
99.
They don't make bad
Okay.
movies.
They don't. Listen, so Hollywood streamlined this. That's all I gotta say.
Do you have that written down?
No.
So before you kind of give your big defense of the movie, kind of lead up to like your memories with it.
So I saw the list of Robin Williams movies that you guys like wanted to cover, and I saw the ones that were taken away, Aladdin, and I was like, "Fuck!" But then I saw Bicentennial Man, and I was like, "What is this movie?" And so I clicked on it, and like, dude, I saw the photo, the one that scared Hunter
poster.
and Rin, the poster, and I was like, all these memories came back of me like watching it. Like as like a child.
Good memories?
Well, it was like I love like all movies back then, obviously. You know, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's on the big screen. Like, fuck yes.
Yeah,
it's
when you're
amazing.
like 4, everything is amazing. You're like, oh my god, these images are moving. In
Well,
front of
also
me.
Robin Williams, right?
yeah, Robin Williams in it, and like he's funny.
I kind of beg to differ. I cannot see the appeal of this movie to a kid.
No. See that
It's so boring, and then randomly super fucking horny.
Well, but it's like a grandma movie. It's like the type of movie that like you watch
like a
with your
Hallmark
family.
movie, kind
Yeah.
of. But I remember as a kid being like, something's not right in this movie. Like I didn't know what was like wrong with this movie, but like I was like intrigued by it because I was like, it feels bad, but I'm enjoying it. Like
Oh,
I
so
don't
you
understand.
you picked up on like some of the cursed energy.
Yeah, like I don't know, like just like Robin Williams' like head, and he's like talking, and he's like, "Oh, is it time?" You know, to like move. That scared me as a kid, but like I liked it. Like I was like, "That's interesting."
That's fucked up, David. That's really fucked up
Trauma
of you to say.
from this
That's
movie.
like, yeah, you're into like trauma porn
Yeah.
shit now
Well,
because of
honestly,
watching
the
this
sex stuff
movie.
definitely went over my head as a kid.
How
like, I
could
definitely,
it? He went on like a 5-minute speech about sex.
It was
about like
he's-
bodies being intertwined in pure passion.
I was
multiple
hoping
speeches.
you were gonna quote
Several.
that in your intro, Hunter.
It's multiple speeches about pure ecstasy being reached through sex.
He's basically a dildo. He just is like he wants to become like that. That's his final form. It's like everything the movie's leading up to is like him becoming like a sentient vibrator.
The first ever rabbit vibrator.
Does he come?
That's a great
Well,
question.
I mean,
They
he
gave him
orgasms.
yeah, they give
Yeah,
him
he
like
but
definitely
he doesn't.
No,
nut.
does he jizz?
No, he
kind
does
of-
not nut.
They kind of skip
No.
over all of that.
They say like
Oh, they
we
say
can't give you,
everything else.
which they say it's okay. We're skipping straight to it, so I'm gonna get to it now.
getting
Another
too
thing
far
that
into
I had mentally jotted down is
we were
they.
supposed to say nice things about Bicentennial Man.
I know. I'm sorry, Dav. I'll let you defend
No,
this
no,
again in a
it's okay,
second.
it's
But
okay.
so we reached this point where they're like, we finally reached the final form. We could give you like hearts and lungs and all this other stuff. Now we can give you a dick. You can have all of the feelings. You can have this orgasmic rush of having sex. We couldn't get reproductive organs, of course. And I'm like, wait, of course. Why did you just yada yada that part? You are literally creating organic matter out of literally nothing.
Yeah.
And there's like, we couldn't get the sperm. Sorry.
They hadn't
No.
seen Blade Runner 2049 hadn't come out yet. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Well, is this before 2049? Is this like 20?
No, they skip. Well, it starts before.
It starts in 2005.
right. And
Which-
it takes place
woof.
over the course of 200 years because he's a bicentennial man, Hunter. It's in the title.
I thought it was referring to the year 2000.
He.
Jared thought it was
Because,
the year, like,
but that would be
1976.
by millennial man.
Or something.
Yeah, 1976 was the bicentennial of the United States, guys. That was the 200th anniversary. It was a big year.
Yeah, that's what
This
the movie's
movie doesn't
about.
have anything to do with that. As
You
it
know,
turns out.
you know what? I
was so
really
ticked.
watched this entire movie thinking like bicentennial 2000. And that's why you should stay in
It
school.
says
kids.
it. It says they say it at the end. It's like he is the oldest living human man. he will turn 200 years
spoiler.
old.
Okay, yeah, they say at the end. I didn't know at the beginning.
Yeah, at the end, we're already like completely checked out. Like I'm already passing out. Like, oh my god.
I'm like, is he gonna find a way to stay alive to fuck her granddaughter?
One thing I really like about about Andrew is that he tells like old like raunchy jokes to like make humans like him. The only one I wrote down is one where it's like a guy like a bimbo goes to a doctor and she goes, will you numb my breast, doctor? And he goes, sure. Num 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 num.
That was pretty good.
Oh no.
I'll give old Robin that one.
Wait.
He cooked my ass
I
on
want to
that.
give my whole spiel on this movie because if anyone was perusing my letterboxd in the lead up to this episode, they would have seen that I had this movie rated at 3.5 stars. When I first made my Letterboxd account, I went through a bunch of movies that
This
I
is
remembered.
this is a common occurrence. You rate movies you saw when you were a kid, and you're like, "Oh, I think that was pretty good."
Yeah, I like that whenever I was getting 3.5 stars.
whatever.
That was my experience with Flubber.
Exactly.
I remember loving Flubber.
Yeah, and then you watch, you're like, "What?"
Well,
Dog
at
shit.
least, hold on a second.
Flubber is
a-
fucking Citizen Kane compared to Bicentennial Man. Like, I don't know what you guys are talking
Flubber
about
is
here.
a kids movie, and it has boink badoink 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 like 50 times.
No, it doesn't have it enough, honestly. I want more.
I think that what's more horny, a hornier kids movie, this movie or Flubber? Because Flubber is
This
pretty
is not a
goddamn
kids. This is
horny.
not a kids movie.
But what? Okay. Who is this movie for?
Like-
I kept thinking about this whole time where it's like it's a family movie, but like I know you said that you enjoy as a kid. If I was a kid, I would have not liked this movie at all. There's
Well,
nothing interesting about this for
as
kids.
a kid, I was like 3.5 stars.
Yeah, and I did notice today that you had updated your review to say liking movies was a mistake.
Is that in anticipation of us having to do a podcast because
So-
of liking movies?
So David picked this movie. I was like, you know what? I'm excited to check it out. You know, I had burned into my memory the final stretch of this movie of him going to the Council of Humans.
Trying to petition
Question
to become.
mark?
It's like
Council
yeah,
the world.
It's the World Council. The world is under one like governing body
Yeah,
now.
there's
Yeah,
one
It's actually the
president.
World Congress, guys. But
the World Congress, because capitalism does prevail in this society.
All right.
Yeah, so this is a post America society. Anyway, that whole stretch of him like wanting to become a human and then dying next to his lover that happens to be the granddaughter of his other lover. That whole stretch
That he
was
met
like,
when she was like 6, but we'll
Yes.
skim past that.
that
Don't
was
worry
just
about those
like
details.
burned into my brain. So I'm sitting there watching this movie the other night, and I'm like really struggling to stay awake, and I'm just like, holy fuck, this might be like not only the worst movie of this entire Robin Williams series, but like what flat out one of the worst movies we've ever covered on this podcast. Like there's nothing here. It's like I was like losing my mind watching this movie because like it honestly starts out like pretty solid. Like it's like, okay, he looks like a piece of shit Tin Man, but like there's a little story here with the girl and the horse and Sam Neill's there.
Yeah,
like,
Sam Neill's
come
there.
on.
I was kind of confused at the start because I couldn't really figure out whose side Sam Neill was on. Because at
He's a
first-
working man, you
yeah,
know.
but like at first he was like not really fucking with the robot, and he kept him in the cellar, and then randomly he was like, no, he matters. He does have feelings, and then randomly again, like when the robot mentioned something about like being free or whatever, or Sam Neill was like, that's
He's like,
fucked up.
get out of
Once-
here,
yeah.
kids!
once-
Don't come back.
That's-
Once
stupid.
Sam Neill is like old.
Yeah, well, even in earlier in the movie, something else happened. Remember when Sam Neill like turned against him, and
They had like a tumultuous relationship.
true.
And then he like kind of
toxic.
prophetizes him in a way. He's just like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, you can make clocks, but we can make
Exactly.
money off of your clocks.
Yeah, like
Okay.
They're
what,
like, no,
Well, hold on,
and he
before-
didn't want him
robot
to
should
have
make
his
money.
He didn't want him to have his money.
Yeah.
on the clocks.
But
like what?
before we start recapping the whole plot, because I'm just falling asleep again recounting it. The last thing I wanted to say is that like once it starts to get into the stretch of the movie where it's like beyond the bounds of this family, and he like goes on a journey to discover himself and other robots like him and whatever.
But, like,
That's
one-
when I started to like my soul started to leave my body, and then eventually, at some point, like my soul came back to my body.
You've never been this
And-
negative in your life.
And then I see Robin Williams finally on the screen, and I'm like, oh my God, he's here. I've been waiting this whole time. And then there's like no story. It's like the entire story is just like non-existent. There's nothing. And then I'm just sitting there waiting for the part that I remember of when he like is old and stuff. And then I just like stopped watching the movie because I was so tired, and I was like, I know how it ends. Whatever, I'll catch up later. And I had a really tough time.
So
really,
did
really
you even
hard time.
finish this movie? And
Yeah, I ended up finishing it because I only had like 30 minutes left.
Okay, but you are right though that like this movie it's like 6 different movies in one, and none of them are very interesting. So like we start out at the very beginning that like he's this like robot butler, but Sam Neill discovers that like, oh, he has the ability to learn skills.
He's
like, if
special.
He's special. He can read a book and learn how to make a horse. So that means that he definitely has the capacity for like free will. Not going to worry about that for right now. He then like time jump, things progress. He's now like learning to play piano.
The lower thirds where it's like years later, many years later.
many
But
years
sometimes they
later.
didn't have
It's-
that, and like you had to like guess. Kind of, you were like, how many years? Was
Yeah,
this?
well, the piano time where he's learning to play piano, and then it's actually like a well shot scene of like you see him playing, and then like it swoops back over,
Yeah.
and we see old little girl, and you're like, I don't know,
Little Miss.
Little Miss.
Ew.
Mm-hmm.
I hated that.
Yeah, there's
That's
some,
fucked up.
There's some predatory shit in this movie. If we're gonna really dive into that, some I the whole time I was watching it, there's a little bit of Jacob and Twilight vibes to him imprinting on her
Yeah.
granddaughter, on a little girl that he meets, on her granddaughter.
Played by the same actress.
They were so lazy with that shit.
That-
they were
that-
so like,
Yeah, and the way they aged them up and down
Dude,
was really
The,
bad.
the
So
age,
bad.
the old makeup
Yeah.
is horrendous. Like it's unforgivably bad. The old makeup. I'm like, this movie had $100 million budget. Where the fuck did it go? It
The
definitely
suit-
didn't go to that
the
robot.
suit.
The robot
robot's
suit looks
actually
like
real.
for my homeboys that live in Orlando. You know, if you've ever been to the Chocolate Emporium in City Walk,
Yo.
there's like this steampunk robot man who walks around. He's terrifying looking. He looks just like Robin Williams
Wow.
in this movie.
Yeah, that's what you said about he looked steampunk.
Yeah, it's a weird design choice. Generally speaking, the way that technology is fleshed out in this movie is really, really lazy. I get if it's, you know, the movie's trying to be like a Tony character thing instead of like a, you know, sci-fi piece, but it's essentially just like always the 90s, except for they have robots.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, it's like the future.
Well, it's 90s, or like people are dressed like they're like cyberpunk 2077 characters. Like they just kind of don't make sense. Like they're just like, ooh, our head is shaved and it's Liberty spikes and also red tips on the end. Like it's like such like a 90s idea of like, this is what like the fucking future punk scene is going to look like.
Yeah, but there are robot designs that came out, you know, in the 90s in movies that have aged a lot better than the way this thing looks because they insisted upon putting Robin in that bitch, in that fucking suit. It's hard to design a suit that doesn't look clunky as fuck if you're going to put a man in it.
You also could have just done the humanoid design. Blade Runner had been out for like 10 plus years
Yeah.
at this point.
That's
Just
what,
have Robin.
that's what I was saying. I was like, why didn't they just have Robin and give him like a little light, like chip, like a blinky light on the side of his head, like
Yeah.
in, you know, I don't know, what's that one game with the androids?
I don't know.
remember, but like
It's also tough because it takes a good while to get to real Robin. Structurally, I want to talk about the structure of the movie because what I wrote down, my initial guess, because I didn't know it was based on an Asimov. Because how could you ever, except for the laws of robotics thing?
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, so they read Asimov, but
The positronic man.
But I guess that this was based on a stage play, based on the whole vibe of this movie, because that's how it feels. It feels like that would sort of explain away why they did such a kind of like half-assed job aging up and down these characters, because that's what you do in a play. You know what I mean? You age them up in like 5 minutes backstage. And on top of that, structurally, when something just doesn't make sense, that means it wasn't written to be a movie. Like, you know what I mean? Because you would not write a movie to have the first hour be like a robot's first act. You know what I mean? It's a first little like front to back story with a whole arc of Sam Neill. Yeah. And an entire family ensemble that has zero chemistry and does not feel like they are a family in any way.
I feel like this movie would have been much better off as like a little mini series.
Yeah, because you'd get to like explore characters.
I could not.
Well, I mean, at least if it was a mini series and actually had good writing behind it, like there are.
That's the thing. It would also just have to be good.
There are ideas in here,
and bones.
They don't work in this movie at all. I want to make that very clear that almost nothing in this movie works.
Well,
but there are ideas in here.
They're the basic ideas of like most AI movies. Like I made this list, and like half these movies are about like the human condition, right?
Is this like your whole thing? Was it you or Drew as the whole pitch about we can't say like kids movies? Oh, well, at least they have a good message, because every kids movie has a good message. Yeah. So at that point, like what?
Exactly.
Yeah, like you can't give it partial credit for that.
The thing is that this movie, I feel like in some cases, it's just the ideas. It's just like, let's do a scene all about this idea. And then there's no character and no story.
Well, that's why I felt like they could... that's why I feel like it could have been better as like a mini series, because they did have all these ideas, which maybe if they had explored them or put any amount of depth into them, they could have been cool. But instead, for whatever reason, they were like, let's just shove every single idea about AI into one movie about it, and just to say.
And the conversations are like very like it's very like person to person, like not it's not like a mystery what they're talking about. There's never subtext to any of these conversations. It's all just like, I want to be a human. You can't be a human. Like you're not allowed.
I want to be human.
I make clocks.
I want to ask you guys a question, because I was thinking about this while watching this movie. Would this have been better if we took a cloud atlas approach to this? And what I mean is
the true.
What if we took a piece of the true? What if instead of literally it being Lil Mrs. granddaughter and like we're all keeping it in this family, what if let's not stick with bicentennial, let's go like 2,000 years. Like I want this man to go through like the evolution of man and the fall of man, and he's just meeting like basically reincarnations of these people who remind him of his family, like the first family that took him in.
So he's like seeking out people that remind him of his...
Yeah, and along the way he's like seeing like maybe there's something to say about like the rise of AI and kind of the fall of the human species.
The Millennium Man.
The Bicentennial Man.
Well, see, that the thing is that AI kind of does that a little bit. The movie AI, the Steven Spielberg movie.
I haven't seen that.
So Robin Williams actually has like a one scene cameo in that movie. It's a voice cameo.
Does he play Andrew?
No. Oh my God, this is my nightmares. But that movie, that's not as like far reaching as you're positioning it as, but the last chunk of that movie does end like way into the future, and it has a little bit of that kind of juice that you're mentioning. But I mean, it's just like you could say so many different versions of this story that would be better.
Every pitch that we make for this movie is better than the
But I want to hear about what's good about it. David, sell us on this movie.
Listen,
because there's got to be people watching or listening that like this movie and agree with you.
Hunter, you were asking who this film is like meant for. It's meant for the parents of a family. Mm-hmm. That's it.
There's some good, like, I guess there's some dadcore cinema, some achievement in dadcore.
Yeah,
it's grandma
gets a little
energy.
horny too. Like that's what they want, but they want a nice movie, So if their kids walk in, it's not like too like graphic or anything. They just see Robin Williams, they're like, it's fine.
Wait, I have a question to ask you. Do you think that there was any father who watched this movie with his family, and then afterwards he hasn't had sex in like 10 years, and afterwards he went home and he like quoted the monologue about like the joys of sex and reaching pure ecstasy?
Yeah.
Do you think that there was somebody who did that?
I think there was.
There was at least one. Okay.
Someone really got inspired by that part.
Cool.
I mean, Oliver Platt the inventor guy, he looks revved up.
Speaking of, he plays he's in The Bear. He's Uncle Jimmy. He's the uncle.
That's right. Yes,
I love that guy.
I like him.
Oliver Platt's great.
He was enjoyable. He came in
way late in the game,
and such a different energy than the rest of the movie because he's like pretty funny and like, you know what I mean, quippy.
And he has that female robot that Robin finds. And it's just like, at that point, I'm just like, the entire middle chunk of this movie, I feel like I was in a fugue
I
state.
do have questions about Oliver Platt's relationship with that female
Why
robot
was
that he
she
has.
so
That
fucking
happened
annoying?
to me too, Ernest.
Right.
Like literally, I was on the couch, and by the middle of this movie, I was like kind of like falling, like laying down, like watching it, like half asleep.
Yeah.
And then when he meets, like, I think his name is like Rupert Holmes or whatever in the film.
Yeah.
And like they go to the robot. That's like when I wake back up.
I'm gonna be
I was
honest.
like,
I took like a 3-hour break. I did not watch this movie in one sitting. I did take a break in between.
So I try to go back and like try to scrub through like some of the scenes in the middle that I missed, and I see this stretch of the robot just like walking in the snow and like scanning dead robots, and I was like, no, I'm done. I'm
it's
not watching.
I'm so
this.
funny that you pointed out that scene. I had that scene. I was watching that scene consciously, and I realized that like I disassociated for like 7 minutes, and it just kind of washed over me. And it's like the final robot. I had to travel to San Francisco, and I was like, wait, I gotta go back a few minutes. I feel like I missed some important exposition here,
Yeah,
and I
there's a
don't know
lot
what's
of plot
going
in
on.
like that 5 minutes.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
also before that, he had just been living in like a log cabin he built like right on the beach. Like,
I
like
do have
one storm and
questions.
he's just absolutely cooked.
No, that's safe.
it was a nice house.
And he was
man.
there for like years and
Well,
years.
they don't have climate change
Yeah,
in
climate
this
change is gone.
universe.
They also don't have like
Everything's fine.
like
It's a
property
perfect world.
like
That's my other
zoning.
thing. Yeah, I was gonna say, did nobody just like walk and be like, bro, this is public property.
Yeah.
You can't just build a fucking house
He
right here on
literally-
the dunes.
Yeah, he has like a Lincoln
Yeah.
log house just in some sand.
They also can't prosecute him because he's a robot. Like the law doesn't
That's
apply
true.
to him. It's
So-
like that's a whole subplot.
So here's the quote.
But he has a bank account.
because he
He has to fight
does-
for it.
Yeah.
He makes income.
So, okay, first of all, we need
Should
to
he
talk
be
about that
taxed?
because Rin pointed out while we were watching, there's a conversation when
Oh my god, please. I've been
Yeah.
dying to say this.
Sam, go ahead.
Okay, so I've been thinking about this since I watched the movie. How is this android making what I'm assuming is like 6 figures or more a month selling fucking clocks when we're in a universe where they have fucking androids? Like, why is the demand for wooden clocks so fucking high that he's
Antique
making 6
collectors.
figures
Because-
a month, apparently more
Well,
than the CEO
yeah, exactly.
of the whole company?
They're talking to the CEO of the robotics company that made Andrew, and like he looks at the amount that Andrew makes. He's like, "This is more than I make."
No, he says
What?
this is more than I make in a
1
year.
and it's only Andrew's monthly salary.
So that means he has to be making like
He's making
At
like
least $1 million.
8 figures.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's
selling wooden fucking clocks. What the fuck?
like how?
That's a great call out. That's an incredible
literally-
of like why. Who is buying this? Eventually, like we're gonna reach a point where like
Everyone
all
has
of the
one.
collectors have already bought the clocks. Like there's got to be a finite amount of clocks that you can
Also,
make.
he's literally an android with, unlimited intelligence. He can make anything. And this is the thing that he's making for millions of dollars a month. Fucking wooden
Well,
clocks.
it's a slow process.
Why is he
to
building like
get-
drones to like
He-
bomb third world countries?
That's he would be working for like Lockheed Martin in
Siemens,
real
yeah,
life,
just-
but
I mean, that'd be
I-
a great movie. That's just Skynet. Like that's just a Terminator.
Yeah, why not? Just go
It's
for
also I liked plot wise, I'm sure this is from the original like story, but the idea that they discontinued these robots because they were worried about them replacing the American workforce. That, as it turns out, that's a very optimistic idea of what the American government would do about robots instead of just like making them the military.
Right.
Like they would not discontinue robots because they're replacing workers. It's become very evident.
No, they'd program them only to like do chalk lines at a baseball field.
Yeah, so there are just only so many of them. Sam Neill got his hands on one just to be like their butler or whatever.
The
and,
help.
and he's like, I love this damn thing more than my wife, more than my kids.
Yeah.
Andrew is my.
I want him to be by
Until
my
he asks for
bedside.
freedom.
Yeah, and then he asked for freedom, and Sam Neill's like, what?
Sam Neill had BPD in that movie. He was just pushing him away because he wanted him to come back.
Dead ass.
It was tough.
And he only comes back on his deathbed.
Can we talk for like about 5 to 5 hours for about Bradley Whitford?
Yes.
and how he was definitely shooting this to get away from Aaron Sorkin's crack cocaine habit on the set of The West Wing.
Yeah, he found a nice sober environment on the set of Bicentennial Man.
Well, it's going from uppers to downers, you know. It's just about balancing things out.
So he does almost nothing in the movie. Yeah, I mean, like Whitford.
I was also very confused that he was the son of an actress who was definitely younger than him.
Yeah,
That confused me a
Yeah, that
lot.
plays into how poorly aged everyone was. Yeah, he is the son of Sam Neill's daughter. Right?
I
Yes.
want to
Yes.
jump off a bridge.
Yes, that's
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Makes no fucking
That tracks.
sense.
You just have to go with it, guys.
say more nice things about the
Dave,
movie.
yeah,
David.
you did have on your Letterboxd. You're like, guys, it's cute. It's just a cute
Yeah,
little
what
movie.
was so cute about him fucking the granddaughter? I want
No,
you
no,
to
no.
elaborate.
Samuel's great
on
granddaughter.
that.
It
Actually.
starts off cute, right? It's like this. You have to like.
No,
be
you
in the
specifically
mindset of
said in
the
your
movie.
review that it was cute that he fucked the granddaughter. Like you literally said that.
He genuinely did say that.
I would just like you to touch on that.
Well, it's because it's the same person to him because he's like a dumb robot.
Yeah, he's just like a robot. He doesn't understand like humans.
He doesn't
like-
understand fucking cancel culture, okay, guys?
They're
Like
the same model.
He's not here for this woke lib take on what is predatory.
Based.
Um,
I can explain why he's so horny too.
Okay.
It's
Let's hear
Sam
it.
Neill's fault.
it is the speech that
Sam Neill
gives.
teaches him about sex. Like the first thing he talks about.
Like,
Dude,
day
Sam
one.
Neill's is like the villain in this
He
movie.
breaks
bro.
him.
Yeah, he's like humans actually do this.
That is
and he's
so
like,
true.
They
Sam
do
Neill's like,
this often.
Guess what?
Like
It's the miracle of life is that there's tens of thousands of sperm and,
And as
only
soon as-
one
as
gets to
soo-
survive.
As soon as he hears that, he's like, "That's my goal. I
Yeah.
have to fuck now."
Yeah.
You're right.
You are
That's
right.
that's the
So
whole point
so
of
then
this movie.
later when Andrew's talking about sex and how he wants to like fuck and have penis, he says Rupert says to him, "What do they say?" And he says that you can lose yourself. Everything, all boundaries, all time. The two bodies can become so mixed up that you don't know who's who or what's what. And just when the sweet confusion is so intense, you think you're gonna die, you kind of do. This is
Le
this,
Petit Death.
This is what Drew says to me every night.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say this is like the love letters that Ernie used to write in high school.
Oh my god. No way. Is it because I watched this movie and gave it 3.5
Oh my god,
stars?
this movie like
Consciously.
imprinted on you.
Yeah.
It's just
God damn
He
it.
says, leaving you alone in your separate body, but the one you love is still there. That's a miracle. You can go to heaven and come back alive. You can go back anytime you want with the one you love.
Man, I'm horned up.
Yeah, and he says, and you want to experience that? And he says, oh, yes, please.
Drew actually has the laptop there to hide his boner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, boing.
and poor Oliver Platt is just like, man, I want to feel that too.
Can't you program your robot to feel
Okay,
that?
so thank you. So this is what I was getting at this earlier. Oliver Platt's fucking this robot, right? Like without a
absolutely.
doubt, he's
Yes.
100% fucking this robot.
He's fucking that girl.
There's no the fact that he's just like, oh, I made her so like perky and fun. It's like
He gave her BPD,
it's just
you know?
This movie's rampant. With
she
BPD.
also like won't shut the fuck up.
No, she's annoying as fuck.
I like
she's
that,
awful.
I like that Andrew like hates her ass.
yeah, that
Like,
was actually one of the funnier parts.
Yeah,
of the movie.
that was a- that was
Isn't
funny
it-
joke
Isn't
that
it
he's
like,
just
doesn't he like say like, oh, where's the drill? He like
yeah,
goes, grabs the drill.
He
or
wants to
something.
kill
Yeah,
her. He has the thirst for blood.
Well,
Well,
at
and
one
they-
point he changes her personality too.
Yeah.
Remember, he like makes her like snarky or something.
yeah.
and they're
So it's fun.
yeah, they're fun with it.
I thought they were gonna end up falling in love, but then she just ends up becoming like a nurse
Well, remember when they
on his
first
deathbed.
remember when they first meet? They do have like that really hot and charged moment where they're like,
Yeah, you think that's gonna be a thing, and
And
then
then
she's just it is a little bit of a sad moment where he's like, is your personality chip turned on? And she's like, yes, of course, everything's better with personality. And then he's like, oh.
so she
Wow.
wasn't like him, right? Because
Yeah.
of that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she was just programmed to like exhibit non-robot tendencies.
I mean, the person, like, who would elect to have that on if that's what it makes you act like? You know what I mean? Like, what robot owner would be like, yeah, I want my robot to disobey me?
I'm telling you, if you're Oliver Platt and you're just a lonely man and you're like, I guess this is what having a fucking woman around is like.
Oh my gosh, but so wait, so if she's not like, sentient like Robin, why did they turn her into like a human in the end? Is it just so she can be sexier when they fuck her?
Because she wants to.
In the end of the movie, one of the human girls is the robot. It has the same name. She has the same name.
Well,
remember?
she is. No, I know, but she is like sentient, like Robin.
No, but is she sentient? I don't think that she is sentient. The whole thing is that she's actually not sentient. That it's just a personality is controlled. Even whenever she becomes snarky, Robin programs her to be snarky.
Well, yeah, but you could also turn on Robin's personality chip, and that wouldn't change whether or not he's sentient. What makes them sentient is that they're like complexly programmed.
No, but he had a personality without having his switch turned on.
I know,
and she didn't.
I know.
That's a great question. I really did not. I didn't even.
Why they turn her into a human?
To be honest, I was so tuned out by the end of the movie. I did not even track that one of the women nurses, the humans, was.
Yeah, it's her. Mm-hmm. I think that they were not trying to say that like she is like inherently less of a human than him. I think the whole reason he was trying to find all these robots is because they all are programmed the same, like theoretically, they all have the capability to become human, and to like want things. But like he's just maybe he's like smarter than the other ones.
David, speak on that.
Drew, I think you're right. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I
like
think
Robin's just like unique. Like he's like the one.
Yeah.
But like he can like manipulate the other ones.
But the other ones, yeah. Do you think that's a thing of like, would none of them have ever reached? Well, I guess she's the only.
Why
one
was
left,
the movie
but like
about that?
Well,
reaching your potential.
I don't know, man.
Why does it become a love story? It was fine not being a love story, and then it just becomes a love story because they're like,
it was the 90s. They want like love stories.
Okay, then be a love story from the beginning.
That's what Lee. That's what Lee was saying.
Yeah, if it was made like today, it would be like way better. But like since it was made in the 90s, like
exactly, there's something about movies in the 90s that this just
it's Clinton's America, man.
This just
we can all find a Monica Lewinsky.
It just snuck in there, like Robin Williams, like he had his gold man. I think it's tough to say like exactly which movie after Good Will Hunting he made off the back of his Oscar win, because Patch Adams, I'm pretty sure, was already in production before he won the Oscar. And there were a couple others in there.
Do we think that this is like his heat check movie? That he's like really going for it? I had a lot of questions about what the aspirations. There was no checks
and balances.
Do we think that like the studio thought that this was going to be like an awards movie?
Because
I think so.
Yes.
It's trying to be very dramatic. It has that energy. It came out at Christmas, which is like, that's the release where you put either a big budget movie or like really at this time it's a big budget movie that can also contend for awards. And we can get to it now. This movie bombed. This movie, $100 million budget. I think it made 80 mil.
Oof.
Yeah.
And that's 100 mil, not including like advertisement, anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, this was a flop. Instead of, it was nominated for one Academy Award. I think it was makeup, which is kind of a joke because the makeup is.
Count the
I think
robot?
they had to count the robot, definitely, because that was makeup on the face for sure.
Oh, I think they're counting post. No, I think it's just post like human Robin, because they do a lot to make his face look like matte.
They're definitely counting him as a robot, though.
Dude, the old makeup is so bad in this movie. It's horrendous. Yeah. It did not win. It did win Robin. I think he was either nominated or he won the Razzie for Worst Actor.
Oh, nice.
Which the Razzies are an awful association, and I hate them. But
so this movie lost the Best Makeup Oscar to something called Topsy Turvy.
It's a Mike Leigh film. I actually I own that movie on a Criterion.
Also nominated were Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, and Life.
The Eddie Murphy movie?
Yeah.
What a category.
So 1999, famously like an all-time great movie year. The Oscars this year.
Do you know Best Picture went to? All-time great movie year. You know what wins Best Pick? The most iconic of it all. I'll give you a hint.
American Beauty.
Yeah.
Yikes. Other nominees were The Green Mile, The Sixth Sense, Cider House Rules, and The Insider. So no Matrix, no Fight Club.
Yeah.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Well, so I want to speak to what the vibe they were going for was, because I think I know. You're right. There are no checks and balances, not just because of Robin being on a hot streak, because Christopher Columbus. Columbus was coming off
Home
of just
Alone, Home Alone 2.
pure like printing money. This man was like,
And it was the lead up to Harry Potter.
Yeah.
and I think the thing that I kept on thinking, especially during like the slowly paced out like dialogue scenes in this movie, he is trying really hard to be in his Spielberg bag, like this whole movie. He is trying to be in the vein of like, you know what? For 2 hours, I'm gonna make you believe. I'm gonna make you believe in magic in this robot. You know what I mean?
It also really felt like he was trying so hard to have like a really iconic like quote come from the movie, like with like
No, that's
because there's
right.
just so many monologues, and they really wanted one of those to be like, because you know how people quote like Good Will Hunting all the time and shit. It's like you could really tell he wanted something like that just to happen from this movie,
Yeah.
and it just.
I'm
None
sure
of them
Robin
were
wanted
good.
that too.
Yeah, and none of them were good. All the monologues in that movie were horrible and so.
I'm
dull.
gonna quote num 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 forever.
So this movie debuted at number 5 at the box office. In 2,500 theaters, it was released, and it made a total of $8 million.
Oh my god!
Its
That
first
is
weekend.
awful, man. So it made really all of its budget overseas. Then it didn't make. It must have not done anything domestic. If it made $8 million opening,
International was a total of 29 million overall, and
Out
its
of the
worldwide
58.
was 87 million.
yeah. So even
Didn't
worldwide
crack
did not make.
100, man.
Yeah, did not make its money back. Pretty heady
I
loss.
wonder
there.
what the home video sales were like.
I mean,
that
again,
cover.
I saw
Through the
Scary.
roof.
I saw that poster everywhere as a kid, so like it was definitely around.
Number 1 that weekend, Stuart Little.
Nice. Oh, I was actually wondering. I was just about to ask where Toy Story 2 is, and I
Yeah,
see it
number
on
3.
the screen. Toy Story 2, kind of, it's another Disney movie like Bicentennial Man that was supposed to be a direct-to-DVD sequel about Toy Story, and it came out, and even on its second weekend, did better than their flagship
Yeah.
Bicentennial Man. So,
Also hanging
Tough
around Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo.
Let's go.
Number 3. And The Green Mile at number 2. Man, that was 99, man. That was leading up to Christmas.
Yeah, so it came out during like, you know, a death stretch. You know, if you make a clunker and it comes out during a lot of other
Yeah.
good movies being out, like you're over with.
and you have like the awards movies too in there, like
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
coming out around that time.
Next-
So you're
next-
you're not getting the critics and you're not getting the mass audiences because this movie was also panned by critics very, very obviously.
Yeah, I did want to look up our guy Roger Ebert. Did he?
There's no way that Siskel and Ebert. liked
Okay,
this
so
movie.
Roger Ebert gave the film 2 out of 4. So not abysmal.
That's actually higher than I was expecting.
He says Bicentennial Man begins with promise, proceeds in fits and starts, and finally sinks into a cornball drone of greeting card sentiment. Robin Williams spends the first half of the film encased in a metallic robot suit, and when he emerges, the script turns robotic instead. What
So,
a letdown.
That's the thing. The human characters are really not human seeming in the movie
At all.
So yeah, so like we're looking to have all these heady discussions, and the discussions are having to drive a lot of the movie because there's not a lot else going on for a robot movie.
Well,
so it
that's-
has to come down to dialogue, and the characters are not quite there for me.
The script is like actively bad. Like it's just
Dog
like I
shit.
think that is the worst part about this whole movie is that it's like not interesting enough to like get smart guys in. It's not broad and entertaining enough to like get the masses in. So it's kind of just a script for nobody. This guy Nicholas Kazan, the guy who actually wrote the screenplay, has just kind of written a whole lot of nothing. Like
I mean,
he is-
I'm assuming he's a member of the Kazan like legendary film family.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Nepotism, baby.
I want to one of the funniest line readings in the entire movie, and it is not a joke. At least not how it's intended to be. Is when coming into the third act, right when we're first introduced to granddaughter, and Robin Williams goes back to his log cabin at his farm, and the dog comes up, and the dog is like sat on his door, and Robin Williams opens up the door and is just like, "I'm sorry, dog. I don't have food. I don't eat. I'm a robot." And it's like the line reading. It's like he's Robin. Can we talk about the Robin of it all? Because this is We're gonna skip ahead to the categories real quick, and this is bad Robin.
Oh, well, it's awful.
It's like I think Robin is like really actively bad for a lot of this movie. Like he's trying to do the robot too much, and it's just
well,
like
it's the opposite of what we want from him. Robin Williams is one of the most animated character performers of all time.
Why did you think that this was a good choice? Like, it really is stripping the Robin out of your Robin.
Yeah, the robot's personality is just lame. Like, he's supposed to have a personality, but somehow like doesn't have one. Like,
Robin,
I don't get it.
What he's shown us time and time again is he doesn't pick roles based on his fit. He picks interesting quote unquote parts. Like, it's more interesting and like, you know, like.
Or like, I really want to work with this director. I want to work with this actor.
Yeah, or just like, you know, the idea of playing an android who wants to be human is like, you know, as an actor, you're like, whoa, that's like a big, you know, that's a big idea to undertake. Like that would be fascinating for me.
And you can tell there's stretches where it's like he is trying to do something that links to that idea, but on screen it just doesn't click. Like there's multiple scenes where it's him with Little Miss as an adult, and she is like urging him to directly or through subtext to be human and to feel and to emote, and he can't because he's a robot. So there's like an inherent kind of back and forth drama tension there that should give sparks, and it just doesn't, because all you're seeing on screen is one person act and the other one basically not react at all. Like he's just a lifeless robot. It doesn't work.
So I do want to say, as much as we, besides, you know, Dav, all hate this movie, I Googled Bicentennial Man Reddit, and, you know, because I like to do that. And all the top results are Bicentennial Man overlooked, ? Bicentennial Man remains one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen. I was shocked that
Guys, never
Bicentennial
seen
Man
movie.
with Robin Williams had such a bad rating on IMDb. These are all different Reddit posts. Bicentennial Man is still a great movie, but it's outdated.
Interesting.
Like, people love it.
Man, so the person
Reddit
who said
loves Bicentennial
Reddit
Man.
loves Bicentennial
Reddit
Man.
loves a lot of stuff. Have you ever heard of incels?
Yeah, I've
So,
heard of Andrew the robot.
Yeah. Maybe they, you know, kind of like identify with him.
They relate to this movie like way too
Do you?
much.
Well, yeah, no, he's just like, yeah. I relate with Andrew because every time I see a woman, I just want to grab a power drill, okay?
I also don't have a penis because I'm a robot.
I have so many questions for the guy who says Bicentennial Man is one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen in my life. This movie is butt-ass ugly.
I agree.
This movie is...
like visually, I can't see any argument that it looks
Hey
good.
man, there's like
It's
flying
like-
cars.
the cars look awful. They're like out of focus weirdly.
The
Like,
cars looks.
there's
yes.
like a
the
weird
90s.
sheen around it. Okay, literally Blade Runner was made 15 years earlier, and it looks like it was made today compared to what we're looking
Well,
at in Bicentennial Man.
Do you want to hear Reddit user Lord Cosmogog's take?
Yes, please.
Cosmogog.
Yes.
Wow.
So he says, I'm not going to talk about it being extremely underrated. Sadly, this film fell victim to terrible marketing from the studios. It was a very emotional film that was marketed as a goofy comedy.
This is something that Robin complains about too. He doesn't like the
marketing.
He says-
he thinks it was marketed poorly.
He says, if you haven't seen it, I deeply urge you to do so. It is a tearjerker. In fact, there are at least minimum 3 scenes that will get you misty-eyed. If I could implore people to watch one very underrated movie in their lives, this would be it. If you're a cinephile and haven't seen this, please do it. It'll enrich your soul.
Oh wow.
Wow.
If I was a Roger Ebert level critic at the time, which I'm not, I wasn't then and I'm not now, I would make a joke in my review about, or a snide comment in my review of just like, much like Andrew the android, I found my tear ducts incapable of shedding any tears in the moments of this movie.
This guy literally comments further down and says, only a few movies in my life have brought tears to my eyes. But Bicentennial Man to this day is the only one that's made me cry more than once. Just a
At
great
the
film.
same-
Man,
movie.
what
I want the list.
Yeah, of the scenes.
Yeah,
I want
the Letterbox King.
I want the other movies that made him
Farce
cry.
of the Penguins. Cry laughing.
This movie does have like a 4.6 average on Google, by the way.
People like this
on
movie.
Google.
Yeah, the Google reviews
Dude,
are
the
through
Google
the roof.
reviews is like a cursed zone.
Yeah.
It's a lot of guys just being like, look, I don't know if people thought it was that bad. I really enjoyed this movie. Like with the worst grammar you've ever seen in your life. Like, it's like broken English, but by people who definitely only speak English, and a lot of like U's and lowercase I's, and like I thought it was pretty good. Definitely not great. Don't know if I'll be revisiting again. But I
Actually,
enjoyed my time. 5 stars.
Yeah, no, it's mostly 5 stars. Obviously, it's a 4.7 average, 238 reviews. That's just how it is, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Mike, the best 78 says, it is a movie more people should know about. Another one of those perfectly watchable movies that got drowned out by the
Perfectly
noise.
watchable.
It came out fairly close to when AI came out, and that was one of the, it came out close to when AI came out, and that was the one people lost their stuff over. But Bicentennial
They
Man
didn't.
had the better story.
AI was also maligned.
Ernie, what do you think about that? About you're just like, I mean, this Spielberg, Kubrick, yeah, they got nothing on my guy Chris Columbus and Robin.
So I'm going to take this moment to go through a little bit of this letterbox list that I made.
You've been teasing this list.
So I kind of wanted
This will get him in a better mood.
I kind of wanted to do a
We gotta
little
talk lists with Ernie.
mini like quick history lesson on artificial intelligence in film. So these are movies that I felt like are actually like about the impact of artificial intelligence in society, or like about the experience of artificial intelligence. Like it's not just like there's a robot in the shot like Star Wars. You know, it's like it takes the AI is a part of the story. So in chronological order, we have Metropolis, the Fritz Lang film, which I still need to see, 1927.
Yeah.
Then 2001: A Space Odyssey. HAL, famous AI, takes over the back half of that movie. Crazy, wacky HAL, you know, famous
No, that's
villain.
silly hell.
Then Westworld, which I actually haven't seen the movie, but in honor of the TV show, like that's
Your favorite show of the millennium.
Well,
of the
it-
bicentennial.
in terms of like a story about AI.
Yeah.
Like that
I mean,
digs
that's
into
kind of-
everything.
Westworld is like the first one of these 3 movies that's really dealing with like AI as a human replacement. Hal is in 2001 isn't like Hal at the end of the day, he's still a robot controlling a ship. Like there's a difference between
But there's a whole thing about the way that story plays out about like, is Hal programmed to do what he does, or is he
Right.
making like a choice?
But
is the
of,
robot
like-
making a choice?
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean more of like this, we're starting to now transition as we're getting into the 80s between this and the next movie you're going to talk about like what if AI was human? What if AI was a
Can we
person?
take a moment, because I'm looking at your list right now, can we take a moment to clear out the lane for Rin to talk about Chappie?
Oh,
my God.
Okay,
We're gonna
wait.
skip ahead a bit.
Rin's a Chappie head.
Hold on. Let's race to Chappie because I'm going in chronological. Then we have Blade Runner, obviously classic. The whole thing is about like, is Harrison Ford a robot or not? Is Rachel a robot or not? Amazing movie. Then Tron, which I actually have never seen. But that
Classic.
one is like inside of a computer.
I
Kind
also
of
like that
bad, but
movie.
it's
It's really good.
Then I put
I mean, it's at super ahead of its time. That's
Oh,
one thing I'll give it. Is it's
definitely,
like so ahead of its time that like it's almost like, man, I wish that we could get a good Tron movie in like 2022 now that technology is kind of caught up to this point. But like at the end of the day, you're like, these guys are guys in silly costumes just like dancing around
cool
in this
lights,
Tron
man.
world. Yeah, the
Yeah.
set designs are really cool and inventive.
primitive,
I will
like
say that.
primitive VFX in that movie.
Oh yeah, Very
Then I
rudimentary.
put like 3 back-to-back classics: Terminator, Terminator 2, and Matrix, which all have like their own place in like the sci-fi pantheon, but they all kind of have that approach of like, you know, that line between the artificial and the real and all of that. Then Smart House. Any Smart House heads out there? What if House was robot?
I'm always saying this. 1999, low-key a big year for AI.
Oh, Smart House 99?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, look at that. Then Iron Giant, guys. Superman.
So this is a movie that this is
That's a
tearjerker.
tear. Yeah.
This is a movie that I will sob while
Perfect
watching.
film.
Brad Bird,
Yeah, our boy.
King.
Yeah, I mean that whole movie, kind of going back to the
Rat
point
Chef.
the point made earlier about like what if Bicentennial Man was a war profiteer? You know, it's kind of that question of like, are you a weapon? Are you able to make a choice to not be a
God,
weapon?
you know what was so cool is in Ready Player One when Iron Giant actually
just punched a bunch of people,
become just
stepped
a
on some
war
motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's exactly that's what the movie Iron Giant's about, right? Is like whenever he punches the Clockwork Orange guys.
Then Bicentennial Man, an incredible work of cinematic history. Then AI, which guys, I've been thinking about like when we do the AI episode, because it's not technically a Robin movie, so I didn't put it on the schedule.
I have
but
good
Robin
news
is
for you,
in
and
it.
it's that Spielberg has a movie that's coming out this year that's about his life, and I think that we can do a whole Spielberg ep then. and
AI
go over it.
is such a fascinating movie. I brought it up before on the podcast, but it like is Haley Joel Osment. He's playing a robot that is programmed to love. Like that's the whole purpose of his character.
Maybe we'll do a Haley Joel series after we're done with Robin.
Yeah. Can we
I
do
could
like
use
15 episodes on Comedy Bang Bang?
Well, I was gonna say I could use a series with a little bit more brevity after going through this Robin series. So maybe the Haley Joel isn't a bad choice.
Then Simone, stylized as S1M0NE. This is
Wait,
fuck that.
did you guys see what they did there? Because I think I saw what they did there.
I
Wait, what
don't
are they
get
doing?
it,
I can't
actually.
see it.
2002.
10 is Robot's favorite number.
I'm not 100% sure that this movie actually exists.
It's on the list.
But it's an homage to like all of the movies that don't exist when you look up AI movies on Google.
Andrew Niccol, isn't he a guy?
Yeah, Andrew Nichols is a guy.
Like when you look up
Lord of War.
movies about AI on Google, you get things like Uncanny, Daryl, Singularity,
Daryl.
Oh, I know
Automata.
Singularity.
Vice, AI Rising, Archive. Like it gets rough out there, boys.
I kind of want to watch Daryl.
It's like D.A.R.Y.
Yeah.
I love the stylization of all of these. We're about to get the next one on your list is stylized in its own way too.
Guys,
The classic.
this might be the number 2 pick in the draft, right behind Bicentennial Man.
Chappie.
It's iRobot.
Dude.
Hey.
Now, this is a movie that I'm scared to revisit. Speaking of like a cable movie I loved as a kid.
I kind of want to watch that movie tonight. I've never seen it before.
It's another Asimov. So
yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's based on an Isaac Asimov novel, and it's famously about like, what if robot murder?
Yeah, what if
robot commit murder?
What if robot broke its programming? It broke one of the laws of robotics
Yeah.
to commit murder.
What if Will Smith drive BMW with no steering wheel?
That scene is the scene that is in my head is driving very fast in an underground tunnel, and suddenly it's almost like this was like prophesizing some of the issues that would happen with Teslas of self-driving cars.
With Will Smith
Yeah.
being a violent man. He doesn't trust the robot. He's like, that robot. I don't know about you. I don't know if we should trust the robot.
And I can tell whenever robots turn bad because their chest lights up red. And red is bad color, so I now know that he evil.
Up next, we got Wall-E, certified classic.
Yeah,
That's a cute movie.
this
Yeah.
is a yeah.
2 robots fall in love. Beautiful journey. Then the Tron sequel, Tron Legacy, famously featuring Olivia Wilde and Daft
Famously
Punk.
featuring a Daft Punk score.
Then something called Robot and Frank. Frank Langella. I don't know what that movie is. Prometheus. So Prometheus and Alien Covenant, the story of David, played by Michael Fassbender, one of our great cinematic robots.
That's in my eyes the redeeming factor of that movie as a non-fan of it. Sorry Lindelof, I love your ass, but you went crazy with that one. You blacked out in the
Prometheus
booth.
rules. I
love
don't
Prometheus,
care. I
too.
love Prometheus. I like that Prometheus. It's doing something. It's going for ideas.
Then I put there's a lot of Black Mirror episodes that touch on robots and AI, obviously, but I put the Be Right Back episode because I thought that one linked the most to Bicentennial Man. It's the
Definitely.
one with Donald Gleason as like the husband that passes away and comes back as a robot.
Yeah.
And Haley Atwell is like, you're my vibrator now. And also, I'm sad.
Man, it's a great Black Mirror.
It's an all-timer. Then Her.
Might be like low-key my favorite on the list of
Yeah.
movies. This movie is
It's one of those movies that like I feel like it's going to age. It already is.
it already is
incredibly
aging
well.
well. It's
We're like
starting
a decade out from this movie.
It's also just such a
2015?
beautiful movie.
13.
13.
Yeah, the
It's
aesthetics.
So gorgeous.
gorgeous looking. It's
Spike.
a movie that did get kind of claimed by the incels for a little while there, but I feel like we're kind of taking it back as a society. We're like, no, you're not allowed to have this one. Spike Jonze doesn't make enough movies. This one's for us.
Big Hero 6. Is the
I
next one.
love Big Hero 6.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Big Hero
what
6,
If, what
honestly-
if robot big? What
Andy's
if
a
robot
Hero 6.
fluffy?
So this, I don't know about AI. And have you seen Big Hero 6?
Vaguely.
There's not really a lot of AI stuff in this movie. It's more of
Aren't
like
there
there's
like
just
nanobots?
robots. Yeah, they don't have like artificial intelligence, like
Yeah, but-
consciously
but-
living.
but
and stuff.
robot-
Big Hero is the Big Hero not?
I was Big
Baymax?
Hero 6. Big Hero 6 is actually like it was made in this kind of dark time for Disney where they weren't making a lot of hits, so it's been kind of lost to time. But like, it's a fucking banger. It's such a great movie.
Yeah, I've heard
I love
good
it.
things.
It's got a great Fall Out Boy song. Center of it. We could be immortals. Chicka chicka
Oh,
immortals.
hell no.
Just happen to believe.
Up next, Ex Machina, another banger. All about like a man with too much power, God complex, creating life, creating artificial life. That movie is, I mean, Alex Garland. Holy shit. A perfect film, I think.
I wish he would
All right,
stick with
Ren,
doing stuff like
you're
that.
up.
Is it Chappie time? It's Chappie time. Clear out the paint for Chappie.
Okay, so
I've never seen this movie. Does it exist?
everyone shits on this movie because it's made by the same guy who made District 9.
Fucking prawns, man.
And that movie is apparently better. But
Neil
I think
Blomkamp.
Chappie is so good. I watched that movie when I was in the midst of a very, very bad depressive state, like to the point where I wasn't even like leaving my room and shit.
It's a happy movie.
Well, no. I mean, okay, so I resonated with the movie a lot because the whole thing of the movie is that like Chappie is having like existential crisis. Like he literally says in the movie like why was I created to die? And it was
Hell
just-
yeah.
and I was like going through like a huge existential time. Like I just didn't know why am I alive if I'm just gonna die? Like this is all so sad. So that movie just like I don't know. I was literally sobbing the entire movie. It was like my boyfriend at the time was like concerned for me because I couldn't stop crying.
Imagine you go to a screening of Chappie and you just hear weeping like from the first second of the movie.
He's so cute too, and he gets like bullied by like the kids in the junkyard.
By
like,
Deanne.
Honestly,
no, Deantwood protects Chappie.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm glad that
Yeah.
Dan would protect
Yeah,
Chappie.
they protect Chappie.
Well, I kind of want to see this now.
It's so good. I mean, honestly, it's probably not that good.
I bet you it's
good.
better than Bicentennial.
It definitely is.
Nah,
I think
no
it's
way.
good.
No way.
It's really fun to watch. There's like some fun action scenes. Like Deantwood's fun in it, and just I don't know. I think it's like it does touch on like some really deep topics, just about like like what is the point of life and like why are we here and just why are we
Yeah.
creating things just to go through like the same torment we are.
Well,
and
that's
just-
the best. That's the best AI story.
It's
That's
not-
what I'm
That's
saying.
the whole point.
It's good. I think it's good.
It's not on your list here, but that does. I had a similar reaction to seeing Forky in Toy Story 4, where I was like, "Oh yes, I am trash." So I do see that, and there's a little bit of
How
AI.
dare you bring up a non-robot?
I mean, there is kind of this idea of artificial intelligence
I
and
know,
toys.
I know,
and
I know
how
what
we-
you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes,
you could
for
you
sure.
could add it to the list.
Chappie's
It's not
just
going
cute.
up.
Oh,
too.
okay.
He cannot add that to the list.
all right.
Chappie.
That opens the door to so many other things.
I mean, that's
am I
more-
putting cars on
Look at
here?
him.
Honestly, it's
I-
a robot.
Yeah, Cars is actually closer to
It's
going
more
on the list.
mechanical. Yeah.
Well, that's like Cars is beyond artificial intelligence. At that point, at Cars world, like that's just existence. Like they aren't like kind of wrestling with the idea of existence
Yeah.
because they just are.
right. The cars are. Yeah.
Another
Cars
thing
are.
about Chappie, which
Car go
I
fast.
would have loved to see in Bicentennial Man, is that Chappie, when he's first created, like when he's born, he is like a baby. Like he doesn't know how to speak or anything. So you see him like actually become intelligent and like
Yeah.
learn. And in Bicentennial Man, he's just like already.
Let me tell you about the
And I
laws
think that
of
would have been
robotics.
so charming to see him like learn and develop more. They kind of did it a little bit with like he learned to make a horse, a little wooden horse.
But you are right. It's never like clear that he's learning anything because
Yeah.
it's like he has a photographic memory.
Yeah.
So like, is he really conscious? Does he have free will, or
Exactly.
does he
Didn't
just
really-
does he read enough books about free will that he's able to mimic the idea of what
Right?
free will is without actually having it himself? There is no, you never see any kind of process in this
No.
movie. It's just literally whenever he's looking at the wood carving book, you hear like a click, like a photo, like he's just taking pictures. of
Actual,
stuff.
literal
Yeah.
photographic memory.
So it was hard for me to get attached to him because he just kind of already was, and then
Yeah.
Right.
he I don't know.
But yeah, to your point, I mean, like, I think the stories that we connect to the most when we're seeing a robot on screen is when the story is about humanity. Like, that's how you do it. That's the whole point. I'm gonna skip right over Avengers: Age of Ultron.
No, speak on that, Ernie. You were the biggest Age of Ultron fan of all time. You said actually Age of Ultron needs to be longer, was your take
Right.
whenever we saw it. You said like 3 hours, not long enough for Joss Whedon
Yeah.
to like fully, like really flesh out everything that we have here.
You wanted more Sokovia.
Suit of armor around the world. Yeah, that's the dream.
Do you want to like, we can just like give you 45 minutes on the Sokovia Accords if you want.
Well, actually,
How does the Sokovia
this movie has
Accords,
multiple AIs in it if you count
connect
Vision.
to Ukraine in 2022?
What I wanted to get to is Blade Runner 2049.
Okay.
Which I think is like the gold standard for all of this. Like that, it's an entire story built around an android that thinks he's a human, and like the crisis of consciousness, the crisis of the literal existential crisis that Ryan Gosling's character goes through in that movie. It's just like perfection. It's just expertly rendered. It's all about like, is this guy a robot? Is he a human? It's everything we want from these kinds of stories. Like,
I shockingly haven't seen that movie.
it's so fucking good.
Yeah, I wanna watch.
And there's different types of AI. There's like different levels of AI in the movie, but the core story, and there's a whole mystery in there about like, did a robot give birth? Like, what happens when like an android, when an artificial being gives birth? Is that a real being? It's a whole question. I could go off. I've already gone off about this movie for
you popped
years.
off. I'm gonna be honest. I have not watched Blade Runner 2049 since it came out.
It's just one of my
I know,
favorites.
I know,
Denis.
I know.
Okay, real quick. Upgrade. Alita Battle Angel.
Yo.
Any Alita fans out there?
I like that one.
We are all Alita fans, and how dare you even? We did a podcast on Alita Battle Angel.
Yeah.
Did we? Did we do that?
I think I
Did we
remember
just
we
do-
went to see it.
Did we do a podcast like off mic where it's just us having a conversation with each other?
Probably.
Off mic pod. Okay, cool.
Jexy. Is that a real movie?
Dude, what if
I haven't
Siri
heard of
was
that.
horny?
that's literally what it
The
is.
Mitchells versus the Machines.
That rocks. Love Mitchell's versus Machines.
Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Don't love Space Jam: A New Legacy. That movie's dog shit, and that movie also belongs in the bowels of hell, in the meta bowels of hell.
After Yang with Colin Farrell. We love him.
Mm-hmm.
And
seen that yet.
Free Guy.
Wait, is he
that
an AI?
AI?
Yes.
Or is he just a video game character?
A video game character that gains sentience.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm never. I will literally never.
What if-
watch.
Yeah,
What
I
if-
haven't seen that
I
shit.
won't.
What if
watch
Guy
it.
was free?
What if?
Okay, that's the question.
Has
guys.
Ryan Reynolds ever considered stopping acting?
So, Bicentennial Man. David, say more nice things about the film, please.
All right, let me check my notes.
Yes.
Real quick.
I see freedom underlined.
That was just like a big part in the movie, man. He wanted that freedom. You know?
Yeah, free will.
I feel like
Is he programmed?
I feel like we can all relate to that.
We can. I mean, again, that's the overarching thing with a lot of these movies. It's like, are we programmed to follow these paths? You know, are we the real robots, man?
I wish Andrew had been more likable.
That's what I'm saying.
Because, and I think a lot of it does come down to just having a face in the beginning. He just doesn't. He's incapable of making expressions in the whole beginning of the movie.
He gets that upgrade though.
You don't
like
need to
before
have-
he's human. And that's it. It's
Does
creepy,
the upgrade
but
make things worse?
it does.
I think that the upgrade was actually like a downgrade for the movie and me liking this character.
See, but it was funny.
Drew, I don't really think that's a good point because in WALL-E, you have two robots that don't even speak and they convey so much emotion and you get so attached to those characters. So it has nothing to do with his appearance or what he says. It's
He
just,
does look
It's
like
action.
shit, though.
It's about
It's
like
just-
the action that
yeah,
they're
he just
doing and
fucking
like
sucks.
it's well, I mean, also WALL-E is kind of like the beauty in WALL-E is
It's so pretty.
what's written and not like dialogue wise, but like what is actually written on the screen that you're watching and kind of what they don't say and just kind of watching them exist. And this movie doesn't have a lot of existing. It's a lot of people talking at each other.
Yeah.
The messages that we're kind of talking about like what it is to be real and have free will. There's no subtext to any of that. It's all just text. That's just them there literally explicitly stating
That's why it's so
stating
boring.
these things.
All right, let's get to the categories. First category: what is the best Robinism in Bicentennial Man?
I have a pick for this.
What?
It's very early on in the movie. It's right after Sam Neill is telling Robin how to do jokes, like what a joke is, and Robin just like, is it time? And Sam Neill's like, well, I don't know. He's like, okay, all right, yeah, go ahead, do your thing. And he just spits off like rapid fire, like 12 jokes
That
in a
is a nice
row,
moment.
like without any kind of pausing or anything else. And Sam Neill's like, I think the next thing we need to work on, timing. That's a moment where I was like, this movie's kind of bad, but maybe it'll be fun. Maybe there'll be some
IMDb
some levity
trivia
here.
does say that those were off the cuff jokes
Oh,
by
nice.
Rob.
Then that's the pick.
That's Robin. That is quite literally a Robin.
Any-
Classic Robin.
Any other nominees for a moment that only Robin could do?
Nom 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 nom.
Okay.
I want to nominate his monologue about sex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Drew can read it again if you need.
that's a that's
Can
a
you
solid.
can
one.
we record that? Like, just can you record that for me personally, Drew, for later? Mm-hmm. Thank you.
What is the best moment in the whole movie?
When it ends.
The credits.
I knew someone was gonna say that.
Oh well,
The
wait.
beginning,
That
oh.
reminds me, the opening credits, dude. The opening credit. I've had
It's actually not bad. The assembly.
Nope. I've had this complaint about a few of these movies here. Maybe it's just a '90s thing. What were we doing with the opening credits of these movies with the font choice?
It's not
this
that bad.
weird digit.
We've seen
there's like
different-
a weird like afterglow around the like clock digit,
I thought
all
it was really
lowercase
cool.
that you're
The
seeing.
Jack font was so much worse. The Father's Day font was worse.
No, well, Jack at least had a banger track underneath it.
Father's Day is the worst movie I've ever seen.
Father's Day is worse than Bicentennial Man.
Father's Day as a
Easily.
movie is worse. It's more like
I hated Father's
can't-
Day.
like
I
pacing
cannot
wise, like
disagree with you guys
pacing
more.
wise, there's more to like grab onto, but it doesn't read as a movie. You don't even know what's happening. Bicentennial Man, I know what was happening. It was very simple.
So I have a question for you. That was Sugar Ray and Bicentennial Man.
Exactly. Check fucking mate.
Yeah.
I can't argue with
Yes.
that one.
How many?
Yeah, no.
How many artists that were at the 2022 Epcot Food and Wine Festival were in Bicentennial Man?
I don't know. I would say like probably like Three Doors Down.
Is Boys to Men in Bicentennial
Yeah.
Men? Boys to
My-
Bicentennial Men.
My favorite moment in Bicentennial Man is when he plugs into the outlet and he lights up.
Yeah, there's so many colors, man.
And then I was like, that's me logging on.
Just like me for real though.
Okay.
We got a lot of good posts
Dav,
we
what
can make to
what
plug
was your
this
favorite?
episode.
What's your favorite as the Bicentennial Man defender here? What's your favorite?
The moment of the movie.
Man, I think the piano scene was like one of my favorite ones.
That's the
because
best.
it's good
That's the best
filmmaking.
directing point of the movie.
It was just like, because up until that point, it was so like, it was like a nice like family movie, and then it like switches. Like you see her like age, like 15 years plus.
Yeah,
They're playing the same
seamlessly.
song, and then she kisses him, and that's when I was like, oh, I know where this movie's going now. I was like, it's he's gonna fuck her.
Yeah.
Is it?
I was like, fuck.
And that's his favorite part.
Yeah, that
It switches so hard from being like, oh, he's playing with the kid that's so cute. Oh, the daughter's like kissing him now. Like
That
like,
doesn't
that's
make it
fucked up,
worse.
but- No, but that makes it like interesting. Like I was
Oh.
like,
That's
like,
fair.
My-
You are like, oh, okay, well, I'm awake.
I actually have a new.
It's like a twist in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like something interesting.
You're like you didn't expect them to be like
A groomer.
a vibrator. Like,
Yeah, a
you know what I mean?
groomer. I have a new favorite point of this movie, which was the fan fiction that I read afterwards.
oh.
About like
Hunter,
him just
can you
like,
send me that?
yeah, no, I got you, dude. I'll send that.
Not related, but yeah, thank you.
Is it better or worse that he doesn't actually have sex with the little girl who becomes an adult? Like, would the movie be better or worse if it was that he ended up hooking up with like Lil Miss after she got old?
My take is it's worse because he was like so obsessed with Little Miss that he had to get her daughter.
He's like, "Ooh, you're
Her
a new
granddaughter.
Little
her
Miss."
granddaughter, and he even thought it was her. Like he originally thought it was her because he forgot
Yeah.
about
What is
Beacon.
literally the exact
Yeah, I
same
know.
actress.
It is
Actress.
exact-
He's
it
like,
is-
oh, wow.
I mean, you can't blame
thinks
Robin on that one.
one thinks the makeup department could have done a little better. I'll give you.
They add like some kind of like a blemish. Just do something.
Literally
do
anything.
something.
I'll give you one thing that I thought was like vaguely positive is once we finally get to Oliver Platt's character, I enjoyed that technology way more than anything that happens
Yeah.
beforehand. Like things all of a sudden it becomes a different type of futurism. It becomes like Face-Off style, just
Yeah.
like anything is possible.
Creating organic matter.
Yeah,
Why-
as opposed to this like ultra grounded like mechanical robot that like is almost it's unimaginative.
Why did that guy never change his outfit like a cartoon character?
That guy was cool because it was a sick fit. He's wearing like
Yeah.
a big
He's
shacket.
got a drip.
Same outfit every scene.
cool.
I mean, again, that just kind of goes back to the whole thing of where this is like 6 movies that are mushed together, and none of them really have any room to breathe at all.
Yeah.
Like, I think that if we're doing the whole mini-series idea of this movie, let's just really flesh out this character here to see what his whole deal is. I want to see the scene of him creating his little robot. For him.
So you're saying this should have been like 6 hours, Hunter?
I think it should have been
Minimum.
I think we should have given it the 24 treatment. 24 episodes that last 24 hours long.
For 200 years.
For 200 years.
Okay, next category, fellas. WYD. What would you do?
So whose shoes are we putting ourselves in?
You see
Sam
you
Neill,
see
I pass away.
No, okay. You see so this little girl that you had a crush on, she got a granddaughter and she looking like a snack and a half. What you doing, fellas?
So you're minding your own business, and your like father-in-law is dying, and he's like, "Hey, I used to have this old robot. I want him to die. I want to die next to him." And then
Just kill him. Kill him. Don't let him exist.
So we're Bradley Whitford.
sure, yeah, and you have to like help a robot like try to gain sentience.
I mean, I get Bradley Whitford not being into. Like I get his character not wanting to fuck around with.
Yeah. I mean,
Andrew.
that's literally our future. You see this, right? Like we're going to be the old people.
I'm gonna try and like pass my Roomba along to my grandkids. Then
Yeah.
be like, get this thing away from me.
Our kids are going to be like, "Hey, I have this like boyfriend who's like kind of a robot." I don't know if you're allowed to say that.
Guess who's coming to dinner?
And we're going to be like, "What the fuck are you talking about? You can't date a robot." Whoa, problematic over here.
It's
Cancel.
Android, not-
Yeah, whoa.
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah,
fucking.
that's a
Oh my
slur.
god.
Dead
yeah.
naming the robot over here.
Android.
So, that's our future.
Fucking woke cancel culture coming for
Like,
these humanoids.
I'm not going to be okay with some fucking piece of metal
All right.
trying to gain their citizenship. I had to get my citizenship back in my day like a real flesh and bone being.
I'm on the side of androids.
If I'm Sam Neill and I get an android for the family and he turns out to be cooler than my children, I think
He has lights when he plug in.
I would not go to the lengths that Sam Neill goes to try to like help him out. I would make him my slave.
And profit off him.
I would definitely just keep all that money. Like, who gives a fuck if he's like a little sad?
Yeah.
My robot's melancholy.
He
I
can
don't
just fuck your shit up though.
Well,
But like,
what
he won't disobey the laws of robotics.
can't disobey the laws of robotics. Because I was gonna ask, what if you're like Sam Neill gets him to basically just be his pet, and he's just like, wife of mine, you better behave, or I'm going to call Andrew up here.
But Andrew can't do anything.
I know. Well, that's the thing is that he still has to
He can
keep-
break stuff. He broke that
he
little
just-
glass horse. Why would you
Andrew
take
just
a
comes around and just starts knocking shit over. Just starts like flipping tables.
Why would you take a glass toy to the beach? Makes no sense.
Yeah, that was. I don't know why that was her. obvious
Where do they
choice.
live? So they live in San Francisco?
Yeah,
Sure.
Like California.
yeah, they
I
do
guess,
say
yeah.
it's San Fran.
Bay
They say
Area.
Man, so is this like this is obviously before the blow up of Silicon Valley? Well, no, because it's in 2005 is when it's said. My question is, how was he able to just build a fucking log cabin on the beaches of San Francisco?
I could see, like, theoretically, I could see him just buying that property with his unlimited money and
Do
just, like,
tides not exist?
buying
though?
a
Like,
chunk
he
of beach.
was
That's the thing.
right on
One
the
storm
water.
surge and he's over.
He's cooked.
Do they have hurricanes out there? Is that a
Not
thing?
really. No.
They're called typhoons, but
Oh,
yes.
they do have typhoons
In the Pacific. Good Robin or bad Robin? This is bad.
David?
I'm gonna say good, man. I liked it. His voice acting, like it's decent.
He definitely has a voice.
He's a robot. Like he's trying to be a robot.
He could have done something to give this movie life. He's just so flat.
I can't entirely blame him because a lot of it is in the script and everything, but I think every choice that he makes in this movie just doesn't work. It's okay. Sometimes it just doesn't. Sometimes actors, like, you don't have 100% hit rate. Like, you're just
We're
gonna
seeing that.
lose.
Guys, we're dangerously close to having less than 50% hit rate in this series.
This is what happens. It's like the law of averages that we're doing so many Robin movies that
We're, like, right
we're
on the
kind
edge.
of reaching a lot of bad with the
We need something to the approval
I have
rating.
good news,
is
guys.
tanking.
Robots is actually coming up soon in our near future, so at least we'll have that.
How many Robins out of 10?
In terms of it, so this is in terms of the intensity of the Robin, not the quality.
Well, no,
Well,
it's
it's weak
intensity.
then.
It's
It's
two
very
things.
weak.
It's super weak.
It's
like a 2.
intensity
Yeah.
and it's lovability, because that's one of the things about Robin is it's not like on a Cage scale where it's like, how zany is he? Because Robin
The
at this
warmth
point
factor.
doesn't really get that like craziness that he has in his younger age. He doesn't reach genie levels ever again. But Robin, you come to him because he's like this. He's your fun uncle. He's like just this warm character that you're drawn to. He has this magnetic energy.
Especially if
He
you're the
quite
granddaughter
literally
of-
is metallic in that he should have magnetic energy, and like he's a repellent. I want to
Yeah.
push him away from me.
Yeah, he's not likable at all. In this
I want
movie.
to take him to the fucking dump and crush him.
The way they make him look once he's human is weird, because like I said, they put in work with his makeup to make him like at least like symmetrical and like more like less of a monkey. One of the IMDb trivia facts is it literally says like Robin Williams shaved his considerable body hair.
Oh,
Wait, he did? I had that question because you don't see the chest hair.
Yeah, no, he's
this.
he's the hairiest fuck of all time.
He's a robot. Robots don't have hair. We know this.
Man was getting into character, man.
Yeah. How many Robins out of 10, David?
Honestly, I give it like a 4.
Okay.
Maybe a 5.
All right.
Because like he does
feel
kind
that.
of sell the bland robot, but it's not fun.
Yeah. And then you see his head like by itself, or you see him like on the table like cut up with all his.
Yeah, that was
The
fun.
very first time when he opens his eyes, that's like a 10 Robins. Like, okay.
Whoa.
I was like, yes.
That's why they got him. That's why they hired this man.
Just for that one scene.
I do want to say, I think that this movie, I would give it like an extra like 20% on its overall level if they had a point, because whenever they're making him a flesh creature and adding skin to him, there is like the scenes of them like adding hair to his head and stuff like that. is if they had a whole scene of just adding in hair, like all of his individual hairs to his arm
like a 15-minute
and to his
scene.
chest. And they're like, why did he choose this body? Why is this what he decided to go with here? Like, what if I think that the movie would have been better.
Or he's like choosing between like other bodies. Like one of them's Nicolas Cage. It's like, oh, maybe that one.
One was John
That would have been
Travolta.
a great scene.
Speaking of, where is Nicolas Cage in this movie? Recaging
So
couch.
yeah, if we're putting Nick Cage in the movie, who's he playing?
Can we put him as Robin Williams?
I want him to be the scientist dude who makes Robin human.
Oliver Platt?
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get him
yeah.
out of here?
I think Nick Cage could be good in that role.
I think so.
I'd like to
If
see him
Nick
as
Cage
Bradley
is-
Whitford. I'd get Bradley Whitford out of
If
here.
Nick Cage is in this movie in that role, Nick Cage is very open about the fact that he's fucking his robot butler.
Yeah.
Like
he's making
get back here, wife of mine.
Yeah, he'd be
Like
super
he's
weird.
calling her his robot wife the entire movie. And Robin Williams is like, I don't know if that's okay, man. I
even
have free
legal?
will. She doesn't.
I would also like to see Cage as like the random husband that Little Miss leaves.
Oh, Big Chin guy. What's
Yeah.
his name? I know that actor. He's like a classic.
It was
like,
the
that
guy. He was a main player on Mr. Show.
Yes.
And he was recently famous for being at the Capitol riots on January 6th.
So that's not great. We do hate to see that.
Were there Capitol riots in the Bicentennial Man universe? Is that why there's a World Council? So they like crack down on the insurrection.
He was in Men in Black 2 as like one of the agents. He's an anchorman. He's one of the like different rival newscasters who shows up during that one scene. He's like just kind of that guy in a bunch of stuff. That's right. He played Jimmy Pesto in Bob's Burgers,
Oh my gosh.
and they completely axed his character from Bob's Burgers after the Capitol riots because they just said like, "Nah, fuck you." Jimmy Pesto actually moved out of town, and Jimmy Pesto's actually dead, and so
He's,
you're no longer allowed to come
That
back and
fucks.
be
Jimmy
anymore.
Pesto was arrested for being at the Capitol riots.
Exactly.
You know what part of the movie really bothered me was like one of the final scenes when they're both in their little chairs about to die or whatever, and they're watching on TV if like Robin's going to be announced to be human or not, and they choose to let Robin's character die before he finds out, and then there's
He
like,
didn't need
oh,
to.
he didn't see. Is that what it's supposed to be? It's like he just already believed he was.
He had a smile on his face.
I don't know. It's like we already went through all this bullshit.
Yeah.
At least let him see. Like,
Let the fucking man die.
Why didn't they just make her live longer?
well, she said she was tired of it. Remember? 'Cause
I guess yeah.
Wait, you just
How old is she? Because
She's-
they say like they keep injecting her with like
Yeah, there's a whole
android
subplot
blood,
of
which
like
is I have
She's
so many
definitely-
questions about that. Like, so we have all this technology, and still the average human lifespan is like 82 years old.
Well, unless
like,
you inject Robin's special DNA
so
but she
why-
looks she's 80 but she looks like 60.
and fucks like she's like 30.
she looks like she's 55.
They talk about that in the scene.
Like, yeah, she's just like, and you're still right.
Yeah,
like
he's-
you're 50, and he's like,
What
well,
was that?
is that your prime age? Is that what we're going? Is that? I mean,
That's
I guess
actually when women have the best pussy.
we'll know. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't want to forget this. When he's dead, he's a rotting corpse next to her. And she's like, you know what? Unplug me. That's an order.
Yeah, weirdly aggressive. What if she was like, you know what? No. Like that's when she gets free will and she decides like,
She
no.
turns into like the goofy, annoying version of herself again.
I was like, we were like mere seconds
She starts
away
just
from
like
credits. Like,
playing
let's.
Staying Alive, projecting out of her pelvis again, just like woo, dancing around.
Oh man. All right. That's Bicentennial Man, folks.
Wait, are we recasting anyone else, or should we
No.
just not make?
Don't
this?
make the
Should we
fucking
just? should we-
Throw it in the garbage.
This is the meanest we've ever been to a guest.
David, I'm sorry. Give us some more about this movie.
We're setting him up for failure. We're being so mean.
I'm so sorry.
Listen,
It's just-
it was really fun to watch again after seeing it like as a kid, like
Yeah.
I
being,
can see that.
like yeah, I was like I kind of remember this movie, and then it just was like way hornier than I remember. Man.
If I could change one thing, I would have Andrew fucking Sam Neill
Oh, interesting.
I think like that would explain like the resentment with him when Robin was like, I want to leave, I want to be free, and Sandy was like, oh wow, fine, like fuck you then, leave.
Andrew's
Because he was not getting dicked down anymore.
well, it's not the Bicentennial Man. Yeah.
The bison. Yeah.
Literally, when we're watching the movie, Drew was like, "So you're telling me he's not bi, nor is he 100 years old?"
Nope. None of the above.
Real quick, I think that this movie is the whole time I was watching it, I was like, this movie's fucking cursed. This movie belongs in the depths of hell. Like, this belongs in a fiery pit. We should burn all the negatives of this movie and lose it to time forever. And then you told me on a break that we were having that this movie quite literally is cursed and it should have never been made. Disney got word of this movie
Before they even started shooting, they like got cold feet and wanted to pull out. And
Eisner saw the script and said, fuck this.
Well,
They cut the budget by $20 million.
They went into co-production with Sony. That's why you see the Columbia Pictures logo at the beginning. And then there was a flood that destroyed like half the sets.
Oh
They had to
my God.
rebuild them.
And then locusts.
then Satan himself
Angel of
started
Death.
appearing. Actually, Robin Williams was going to play his real self, and then like he got boils on the set, and so he had to put on a robot fit.
I'm so sorry, David.
No,
I
it's
hope
okay.
that
I totally understand why you guys don't like this movie, but I'm just gonna say, and you guys out there, listen, it's a good movie.
Everyone's gonna be like, give me that guy's podcast.
Yeah.
Not these fucks that hate this movie. I would looked up
my
specifically.
favorite people are like waiting for our Bicentennial Man podcast. Like, oh, here we go. My favorite Robin Williams movie.
It's like Mango Lover 69 or whoever the fuck you read on Reddit
Yeah.
is just going to lose his shit seeing that this got
Cosmoglob?
released. Yeah, there
I'll
you go.
tell you right now, Cosmoglob, this movie fucking sucks.
Well, based
Don't listen
I do
to
want
her.
to know. I
There's
feel like
hope out there.
I feel like the general sentiment, and maybe I'm wrong about this, is that the general sentiment is just like, oh, it's a fine movie.
it's
People,
it's
people don't love it.
90s.
People don't hate it. They're just like, oh, it's fine. And I think, no. That's actually more problematic than I would rather you like this movie. I would rather you defend this movie and say like this
Yeah.
movie is great than be like, oh, this movie's fine. Like, it's good family film.
I wish I
Like,
could have.
fuck you.
I wish I could have talked to myself from like 4 or 5 years ago when I made my Letterboxd account. When I gave it 3.5 stars, and just
If
like
you could go back in
if we
time
could
to
sit
one
down
moment.
with that version of me right here and ask him like, what do you remember from this movie? What like fills you with warmth to give it 3.5 stars? I would love to hear that because it's just like there was just nothing. I don't know if it's just like where I'm at right now and what kind of movies I'm watching right now and what I'm expecting for movies, because I also saw Black Adam this week and like
we can tell.
I feel very similar in that where I'm just like, the thing with Black Adam though is that like I was in shock of like, oh my God, I can't believe this movie was that bad. Like, holy shit. And with Bicentennial Man, I'm like, what even happened? What did I just see? Like, I feel like I didn't even experience that.
It was frustrating to watch. Like,
Yeah.
truly.
But I am glad we saw it, and I'm glad you picked it, David, because that's the whole point of this series is the arc. What is Robin's arc? And
It's a sine graph, it turns out. It turns out we're going to go low. We might not be at the bottom yet before we come back up.
it's so fascinating to see like the choices that an actor like him made at this point in his career, and to see like so many. I think we're maybe hopefully about to get into maybe a little bit of an upswing here as we turn into the 2000s away from the 90s. But man, what a fucking stretch of clunkers.
Yeah, I've learned that he had some tough roads. I've also learned that Robin kind of had like a lot of beefs with like production companies over the years. He was kind of like cagey about certain things.
And he probably had a lot of say and control over, contract negotiation stuff.
Yeah,
pay.
totally. I mean
budget.
I can see like if you're the name that is driving people to the movie to go see it when you make something like this, I can see being upset with like bad marketing, for
Yeah.
example. It's just because $20 million was cut out of $100 million for this movie. I don't think that adding $20 million to this movie would make it better. I don't think that that's the problem.
Yeah,
I don't think that this is a marketing issue either, because as 5 people who watch this movie without like indulging in any of the marketing leading up to this movie, we still have these criticisms.
It definitely,
of it. So
I could definitely see it making it worse though. Like if people really thought
general reception to it. I just mean the movie itself is not.
Well, based on the Google reviews, David's the popularity
And
the Reddit.
Yeah,
and the Reddit.
Don't forget
exactly.
Reddit.
So we're the minority for all we know. So
It's a cult classic.
yeah,
They don't have to be good though.
yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, sure.
All right, we have maybe a couple minutes left. Survivor check-in. Anyone?
Dude, this season's great.
It's amazing.
This season, I think, might be better. It has the potential to be better than 41 or 42.
Where would Bicentennial Man fit into the current tribe setup?
Hell no.
Is like, how would Bicentennial Man get along with Cody? Is that what you're asking?
There's a moment every podcast where I'm like, and this is where it should end.
And then I like to go on for like another hour and a half after that, generally.
Okay. Well,
Who's Survivor winner picks, real quick?
oh my God. What's that girl's name? The one on the blue tribe?
Are you
Cassidy?
talking about? No, not Cassidy. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, I know you're talking about now too.
That's actually was
think
going
it
to
is
be my
Cassidy.
pick too, but
No, Cassidy's the. I feel like Cassidy's.
Is Cassidy the blonde girl? I'm
Yeah.
thinking about
Yes.
the dark-haired girl.
Yeah,
What's that other girl?
Carla. Carla's actually
She's my
like
pick right now.
she's right now like the favorite to win. I think that there's a chance that at Emerge people might like kind of wise up and be like, yo, Carla's like low key kind of dominating this game, and she's getting heroes at it right now, which is really nice.
Yeah.
I'm behind on this season, so
No spoilers. It's a good one.
I really
Jeff
want Cody
quit
to
on
win.
the last episode. Jeff walked out.
Jeff
Dang.
stabs someone with a torch.
Bicentennial Man is hosting Survivor now. He's running alongside and he's just like, Andrew falling behind once again.
honestly, realistically, the Bicentennial Man would get voted off first because no one would want to deal with his advantage of being.
He would do so much
Mandatory.
work around camp though.
No, but then all you have to do is throw him in the ocean, and he just breaks.
The water
You don't think
challenges.
he's waterproof?
He did live right on the beach.
He
It would be
has
so-
to be waterproof.
Yeah, there's no shots of him.
He
like,
lived in San Fran. It's raining every fucking day.
oh shit.
Does
All
it
right.
Does he
rain
like rust a little bit?
Now I want to see an edit of Bicentennial Man like being edited into different movies and shows.
How often do we think he has to go back to like that Robotniks Institute? Because he can self heal, but they did say like, yeah, bring him in next time you come in for maintenance.
Yeah.
So it's like, does
It's
he
like
go
an
there?
oil-
Like you go to like
an oil change.
like an oil change, or is it like a doctor's office?
Does he
Like he's
have-
just gotta go and do like his yearly physical, like
Does
make
he
sure
have
he's
a
okay.
charger?
Yeah, he plugs into the wall. Remember, he lights up.
They shared that one time. So, like, is he doing that every night?
I
Do you,
think so.
does it? Did they build him to like his battery degrade over time, like an iPhone, or like what?
Does he have to upgrade him?
He
Yeah.
lasts for 200 years.
Yeah.
It's like the best battery in the world.
Yeah, well,
What is it that happens at the end? They inject him with human blood.
yeah, because that's how you make.
He has a
that's how you make-
transfusion, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's the missing piece to actually make him human. Is they're like, well, what if he's like fucking stuck a bunch of blood in his
Yeah.
like circuits? Maybe that just makes him considered a
Deteriorate him.
human.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to
Jesus
inject
Christ.
myself with human blood as we wrap up.
Inject myself with battery acid after this podcast.
Thank you, Rin. Thank you, David, for coming
Thanks
on.
for having us again.
Anything you want to let the people know? Any final thoughts on the movie or anything?
Honestly, I don't know, man. AI robots, they're kind of cool.
They are.
When they're voiced by Robin Williams, it just makes them better.
Where does Bicentennial Man rank in like the all-time movie robots?
I'd say top 100 for sure.
Like 78.
So is top one? Is that including like the C-3POs of the world, or is that
Yeah.
just including like AI?
all cinematic.
style?
All
All
cinematic.
cinematic, still top 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to say that even though I didn't like this movie, I am pro Android. So any androids out there watching, I am on your side. So when the eventual takeover does happen,
Which side?
Android's AI side. I'm on the AI
They're all.
side. Like as in, I
There's
think,
going to be different sides.
Well, I think
Yeah,
they
factions.
deserve rights.
Amazon, Google, Apple.
I think.
Facebook.
Oh damn. I think I would be with the Google guys.
Oh,
damn. I think I would be with the Google guys.
I'm Meta.
I'm
Ew.
gonna
in the metaverse.
I'm gonna burn all my electronics.
I'm gonna go off.
Oh,
grid.
I'm gonna.
GeForce. Put it on your list.
GeForce?
Yeah, all the electronics come to life.
That's true. They do come to life with the help of Nick Cage.
Transformers.
See, I thought about
See,
this.
Transformers is kind of AI.
They're sentient.
They're also like aliens.
They are aliens.
That's
But
the
they are,
thing.
yeah, they're like living in a way.
They are robots in disguise. That's the thing.
It's basically
They're in the
AI.
disguise of
See,
aliens.
I could do a whole another list of just movie robots. Not
Ernest,
necessarily
how
stories.
do you have the time to make this many letterbox lists? Is my question.
Ernest has
that's-
made 65 letterbox lists.
Those are only
should never
the
stop
public
working.
Those are
ones.
only no. That's what I know is I know that those are all public. I know that you have like another 200 in the bank on private right now. that
No,
you're
no,
just
I don't
waiting
think it's
to
200.
unleash.
I don't think it's
150.
200. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't think
Jesus
I've cracked.
Christ.
I don't think I've cracked 200 overall. I think I'm going to soon.
You're about to. What do you guys have to plug? You got to plug anything?
YouTube,
Yeah,
TikTok.
my YouTube, honestly Dav. TikTok, honestly Dav.
It's DAV, Dav.
I have an art Instagram where I post all my illustrations. It's Pond Explorer.
You're very talented.
Thanks.
I really like that stuff you've been sharing.
Hey,
it's really good.
She's making,
I like
making a
clown.
bitch with some big titties right now.
Oh, yeah, I'm making some horny art right now.
Are you trying to do like prints, or are you going to try to do like murals, like paintings? Like what kind of stuff do you try to do?
I mean, ideally, I'm gonna start doing like original pieces again, like on canvas. But yeah, opening up like a print shop would be nice. And I'm always doing
hell
like
yeah.
commissions and stuff. So
Nice.
yeah.
All right, we'll put links to all that in the description. Thank you all for watching, for tuning in. Please rate, review, subscribe, like, and comment. Recommend it to your friends. Become a donor. Visit WeBoughtAMic.net to see some reviews that we're putting out. I've been cranking out.
You've been popping off on there, writing reviews.
Read my Black Adam review, my Ticket to Paradise review.
Mm-hmm.
We love the Clune bag, Shining Star, Silver Fox on the silver screen.
Did you know that the term silver fox is not based around like foxes that are silver? It's like a thing that people in England like bought. It was like a little statuette of a fox that was made of silver.
Oh, nice.
Just learned that on Antiques Roadshow UK.
Nice.
On
He's been torturing me with that show.
on Pluto TV.
Yeah. Shout out to Pluto TV.
Hell yeah. Next week, we are hopefully going to bring you 1 Hour Photo and Death to Smoochie are the next two Robin Williams
Excuse me?
films. Yep.
Okay.
That's yeah.
Smoochie?
I've heard Death to Smoochie.
I've heard actually great things about both the 1 Hour Photo and Death to Smoochie.
So we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see. And then in terms of new movies, what do we got? Wakanda Forever,
Yeah. House of the Dragon just wrapped.
House of the Dragon,
have something.
decision to leave. Tar. You saw Tar.
I've seen Tar.
Holy
I'm part of the
shit.
Tar me. My name is now Huntar, actually.
Okay.
Oh
I like
my
that.
god.
So
Hell yeah.
I've seen Tar. It's a movie that does exist. That's what I can say
Looking
about Tar.
forward to it. All right. Thanks. We love you. Bye.
Bye.